you got a new album coming out.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Now let's talk
Uh,
about it.
yeah, but so I've just been writing for a bit. I took like a well-needed breather after over 10 years of touring with Candlebox. So yeah, just took a little bit of a breather, worked on some stuff with my old band Octane for a bit. We did the MMRBQ last year. And then yeah, just started. I had some songs laying around and stuff that I wanted to write that just wasn't a good fit for anything I had, was bringing in the Candlebox, and it wasn't right for Octane or anything else that I was doing. So I was like, you know what, I want to do something. I was always such a huge, really big influence, like with slide guitar,
Oh yeah.
and I just wanted to try something different. So with just the amount of slide guitar I played, I just kind of wanted to make that kind of central to the playing.
Hmm.
And then I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm doing this, and I just started really leaning into. So I'm like, it sounds kind of like hard rock, but I am using some country instruments, playing a lot of slide guitar. So I was like, I just started calling it dark country. So yeah, their dark country rock would be probably a little more, a little more specific. But yeah, I just started calling it that because I just had I'm a huge Alice in Chains and Black Sabbath guy, so I have the riffs and like the stacked vocal harmonies, and I really like using some like odd extensions with the vocal harmonies. So I started doing that, and it was like just is just kind of had that vibe, that like that, and the lyrics are like kind of a little bit more stark, and like growing up, when I was up until I was 17 before I moved to Philly, I grew up in the mountains, so it was like the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area in the Pocono Mountains. And yeah, I just kind of made a full circle back to that. So that was kind of like the lyric content, and then mixing that with the music, I was like, oh, yeah, this is a little bit different, and a little weird. So I had that song that from 2012 that I wrote. Like I said, it didn't fit really with anything, and I took a studio engineering class over the summer with Ron DiSilvestro, who played drums on it, just to get a little more familiarized with like the minutia of Pro Tools and recording DAWs and signal path in a studio.
Yeah.
I've made many records. It was like I was writing the songs, I wasn't engineering them.
Mhm.
So now I'm kind of able to do a bit of both. So I did a lot of the new single at my studio here, and the rhythm stuff at Studio 4. But I learned a lot. And in that process, part of the curriculum was to bring a band in to record. And I was like, well, I already have music, so I don't need to find an outside band. Let's just start recording this, and it worked.
So how did you find the musicians that are playing with you now?
Well, Ronnie was Ronnie DiSilvestro, who played drums, was he's running Studio 4 in Conshohocken now, just outside Philly. So, and he's an outstanding drummer. He has the Super Unknown Soundgarden tribute band. So obviously, I know he's more than capable if he's handling all of Matt Cameron's parts.
Right.
And my buddy Mike Vlanderen was playing. He played bass on the track, and will play bass for the most part on the record. He was in visiting Black Hand and Octane and Foster Child. He's been like my right hand go-to guy since I moved to Philly back in the mid '90s. And then Dustin Napoli, who played keys on the song, he also plays guitar. Like when we play live, he'll play rhythm guitar. I throw him some solo stuff as well. But I met him. He played with Dave Cruzen, who was a founding drummer from Pearl Jam,
Mhm.
and Dave had like a side band called Dave Cruzen and Friends. And then of course Dave and I played together in Candlebox for many years and made a few records together.
Fantastic.
So yep, that's how I found those guys.
So what led to you leaving Candlebox?
That was so the way that works, I guess. So Kevin had an agreement with the original guitarist and the original drummer. The three of them own the brand.
Mhm.
So Kevin, I don't think, was willing to tour with those guys any longer. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. It's not my business. I just know that that was the case. He called me to hire me to go to tour with the band, and I thought it was just going to be like a glorified cover gig. I thought we'd just be covering for most of that first record, and a couple off the other records, and that would be it. But I joined in 2014, started touring with them in 2015, and then we immediately went into a studio and started writing, which I was kind of shocked. But I ended up doing 5 records with those guys. So uh, the departure end of it was contractually, Pete and Scott, if they wanted to come back to the band, could after this 10-year. I would just kind of guess it's like a lease, lease of Kevin leased the name.
Yeah.
So they Pete, was itchy to come back, wanted to come back, and we got the band. It had like it's probably best resurgence of popularity since that first record with the lineup that I was involved with, and it was a good time for him to come back, and he wanted to, and he legally he could, and he technically is a co-owner of the brand, so that was that. He wanted to come back, and he did. So it honestly it couldn't have worked out better for me, really, because it was definitely, I think, time maybe to move on. I had a great time. I would have kept touring with those guys if they needed me, and even if they do call me and need me for anything, I would always be there for them. I'm still very close friends with them, but it just came at a good time, man. It was like getting a little bit burned out. The needle wasn't moving much, so it was like I just wanted to. It was time for me to do something like this, and I didn't even really know it.
So when you were with them, how much songwriting did you contribute, or were you allowed to contribute?
Oh yeah. So uh, yeah, I mean, disappearing in airports, wolves. It was like wrote all my parts, contributed. There's a couple song ideas. So the way the Candlebox would write, man, it was very eye-opening and very educational. Uh, because the way that we would write albums, we would just get in, we would block out a studio for like a week or 2 weeks, and then just get in there. And it's like literally whoever had ideas on their voice memos on their phone. It's like, all right, let's play something. It's like, oh, I'm feeling good about this one. Play it for everybody on the phone. All right, yeah, let's go and start working on that. We would just go in a room and just start blasting ideas off everybody who's coming up with this part, coming up with that part. It's a really organic and like communal way to write. It was definitely different, but I did dig it
Yeah,
because
that
I
sounds
had.
fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a car derby, like a car crash derby in there. But it was what we came out with. It was really cool. And then it was just we recorded really at a breakneck pace. We finished both of all the records that I was on. I mean, there wasn't one record that I don't think took more than 2 weeks for like all the band and everything to go. Now Kevin would go later and record his vocals, but yeah, as far as recording the music, it was like ba 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 ba. In hindsight, I wish I had a little bit more time with it,
Yeah.
but also it's like, the Jack Kerouac stream of consciousness writing and recording. It's just no punctuation. You're just going. Yeah.
Rock and roll,
So
man.
that was, yeah.
All right. Tell me about Octane.
So yeah, we did a couple of reunion shows. We did one in 23 that sold out, really quickly. And Chuck D'Amico, I'm sure you know, at WMMR. He's very good friends with our drummer. He's good friends with myself and my wife as well. But he was kind of the catalyst behind it. He was like, well, you guys are doing these reunion shows. You're gonna put out any new music? And we're like, nah, not really. Wasn't really gonna. We weren't really thinking about it. And then the more we thought about it, it was like, why not? Brian had some song ideas that he sent to me that I thought were really cool. I had been working on solo stuff, and I had what was probably going to end up being one of the songs on my record. I was all the riffs, all the parts for the song "Ashes" that we put out. Was that the new single that we put out for Octane? So in fact, we were sitting in a writing session with Octane in a studio, and we were just working out some stuff, and everybody took a break, and I stayed in the performance room, and I was working on that riff for my record. And one of the guys, I forget who came back in, but they're like, wait, what's that?" I go, "Oh, that's nothing, don't worry about that." I said it's not an Octane song. They're like, "Yeah, you think?" So they much like they did with Gasoline, they kind of forced me to use that song with Octane, but it worked out great, and I'm glad I did it with them because it came out cool. I was very happy with the result of it.
Badass.
Yeah.
So I want to learn more about you and your musical upbringing and how you fell in love with music.
I was young. I had two older brothers who were both musicians. My oldest brother played guitar. He doesn't any longer. He kind of gave it up relatively quick, but he's kind of interested back in. He has a renewed interest in it now. But yeah, man, I used to like sneak into his closet and uncase this old Gibson that he had and play it, and then he beat the shit out of me because I was playing. I get roughed up because I wasn't supposed to touch his guitar, but I honestly I couldn't stop. Like, and once I picked it up, I just kept going with it and going with it, and then like in middle school, my two very close friends of mine, a guy named Tony Scalz, who was a guitarist, and my friend Tommy Winder, who was just literally a savant drummer. Like he was like Tiger Woods. Like they did a story on him when he was like 4, like playing drums. He was outrageously talented guy. So we all played in the jazz band in high school together and had rock bands. And at that time, being a teenager, I played in hardcore bands. So like we would play with like Sick of It All and Biohazard and Judge and like Gorilla Biscuits and all these up and coming hardcore bands. Life of Agony was one of my favorites, like in the mid '90s. So like I played with all those guys coming up. But yeah, and then my other brother Michael had he's a drummer and he had a band in the mid '80s and they played covers and I would just annoy the shit out of them in my parents' basement. They rehearsed there. And the two guitar players that he had in that band, Joe Amico and Pat Flynn, they were the two best, like just jaw dropper guitar players from my area where I grew up in Pittston, Pennsylvania. And they had their gear at my parents' house, and they would rehearse a few times a week and played shows out. And yeah, it was cool. So I was around that a lot, and they were like those guys were just so gracious and excellent teachers, and kind of guided me through it. Like answered any of the 1 million questions I had for them, annoying them. So then they put me to work. I had a Billy Ocean cassette, the one with Caribbean Queen on it, and I put the Scotch tape over the holes. And like my job with the band was to go call the radio station, go upstairs, put the cassette in the dual cassette deck, and record it from the radio so that they would have a rehearsal. They'd have a rehearsal cassette. It was the '80s,
Heck
so
yeah.
yeah, the technology has certainly come a long way since then.
Right. You can write, record, and produce an entire album on your phone, and it will sound better than anything from that time period.
It certainly will.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
unless
it can
they
have
were on
sound, not
too
not
many
not
tape.
always, but
Yeah. Mm,
um. So growing up in the hardcore scene and up in the Northeast,
mm.
what bands were you playing in during that time? I mean, what took you from like hardcore and the early metalcore stuff into playing like melodic rock and
Yeah. So that was we did a ton of shows. We would play like every church basement and every like fire hall around. Like we'd traveling all over the place. Yeah, I had early bands, or everybody was like in the hardcore scene, kind of jumped from one band to another and this and that. So I was in a bunch of them, but I ended up founding a band with my friend Jamie, and it was like he and I at the time, and I'm still a big metalhead, but at the time we were way into well, obviously Sabbath. Black Sabbath, which is they're still my favorite band ever. But Sabbath, but at the time we are listening to like a lot of Obituary and Death and Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel. So we love that stuff, but we also love the whole groove and mosh riff for the like doing the riffs to get the kids to mosh at the shows,
yeah.
So we're like, well, what if you just mash these two things together? We do like grindcore parts, some obituary parts, and then just hit a crazy groove and have these kids just go nuts in the pit. So that's what we did. And up there, all the kids that would come see us, because we weren't hardcore and we weren't really death metal, so they started calling it bloodcore. So
Okay.
that's where that term came up. Or now I guess now I guess considered a subset of metal, but that was really, there wasn't any big science to it. It was like we loved death metal and we wanted kids to mosh. So we just came up with those grooves. So that was kind of the birth of that. And that band was called Burial Ground.
Okay.
So I'm actually in fact about to finish doing a recording today. We're doing a new 4-song EP and we're doing a reunion show in Scranton on July 25th with Judge. So I've never gotten to play with, but like it's been a long time. It's been like over 30 years since we ever did a show with Judge. So I'm stoked about that because those guys were rad. They're a killer band. So yeah, I'm doing, but it's funny, man. Like going from this dark country thing and doing that and like switching the gears and all downstroke super heavy riffs. It's like it's fun though, man. It's like I'm really covering a wide brushstroke of music there. But I was always that way with influences. And then I guess to answer the B part, of how I got into more melodic rock. So I always loved Bob Dylan. I'm a huge Allman Brothers guy. So, and because I play so much slide guitar, Dwayne Allman and Warren Haynes, man, those guys are the gear. Like they're it. So I was lucky enough at the time, even when I had Burial Ground, the guy who directed my video, James Callahan, he owned multiple or man owned one and ran multiple venues in the Wilkes-Barre area that gave hardcore kids a place to play. So he, through him owning the one place in Wilkes-Barre where a lot of hardcore shows went on, he was bringing in some different acts. Like he brought in this band called Cherokee Sex Workshop, and they were being managed by Warren Haynes. So James got me in a room with Warren when Government Mule first got together, and we had an adjoining room. And he came in and he sat down and he said, "Put the slide on." And I put my slide on. He goes, "You do this, you don't do that, and then you just find stuff that you dig and play it." And that was it. That was like, and I took like a fish to water with slide guitar. So that was always kind of there. I would incorporate it into Octane and Burial Ground here and there, kind of. You know what I mean? There wasn't really a whole lot of room for it other than just making noise with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to like solo on it or whatnot. But uh, yeah. So, but I took like a fish to water with that, and then just being so influenced by them and the band and Bob Dylan, and like the more like outlaw country guys. Like I always loved Willie and Johnny Cash, and uh, so like that end of it was it was kind of it was inevitable that was going to happen where I was going to have like this heavy side and this countryside meet in the middle, and I think that's what happened with Until Fall, kind of purposely but not purposely. you know I think it was just bound to happen.
I love it. I love all the influences.
Yeah,
Um, so I got two more questions for you.
sure.
One, all the touring you've done, everywhere you've been, where's the best tacos?
The best taco I ever had in my life is in a food truck in Bozeman, Montana. That's just the easiest question that you got. That taco, this kid has this, and when I'm telling you, it is in the middle of nowhere in Montana, and he has a food truck, and there was like a lot of bands that play out at the foothills of the mountains in Montana, out in Bozeman. They have a venue out there, and the town is the closest town of Bozeman is like I don't know, maybe 30 miles,
Yeah.
and there's one hotel. It's like a super old Howard Johnson's or something, and across the street, like up the street a little bit and across, this guy has a taco truck there, and it's the best carne asada and birria tacos I've ever had in my life, and they are good.
Out of the
I don't,
middle of
I don't
nowhere,
know what
Montana.
they're based on. What's that?
Out of the middle of nowhere, Montana.
All the way in the middle of nowhere, Montana. And there was I had a killer molcajete at this. I want to say it was in Wisconsin somewhere. We parked the bus in a parking lot of a shopping mall.
Hmm.
There was a movie theater and this a Mexican bar and then this dive bar with pool tables. And I can't remember exactly where it was. It could have been Michigan. It was Midwest somewhere.
Hmm.
And the molcajete they had there was outrageous. It was really, really good. And then the dive bar was fantastic.
As they should be.
Yeah, as long as they have Guinness, I'm good.
All right. So the last question. Well, actually,
Sure.
there will be one more question after this, but this is the last like real music related question.
Hmm.
So you got a badass music room right there.
Hmm.
You've been around the
Thank you.
music scene for a long time.
Right.
I'm sure you've accumulated some stuff.
Yeah.
What is the coolest, neatest thing that you own? Like it could be
Uh,
memorabilia or anything.
man, yeah, I've accumulated some pretty cool stuff. Instrument wise, I think I would say my wife for our wedding got me a 1932 National steel guitar. And in fact, I used it on until fall. So like that intro breakdown when it goes down sounds like it's a banjo. That's that guitar. That's a 1932 National steel. Um, Man, I don't know, like memorabilia wise. Uh, I caught up with Chris Cornell. His brother Pete is a good friend of mine. I got to use Chris's guitar on the acoustic version of Riptide.
Hmm.
Riptide was a song that was on the Wolves record from Candlebox,
Hmm.
and we did an acoustic version at Blackbird Studios in Nashville, which was awesome recording there. That was very, very cool. John McBride, Martina McBride's husband, owns that place. It's a legendary studio in Nashville. So I was just thrilled to be there. And then Pete, Chris's brother, came in with a guitar case. I go, "Oh my God, what did you bring?" And he opened it for me. He said, "I want you to use this," and it was Chris's Thompson acoustic. That was cool. I don't own that. I
Yeah.
don't own that, but I got to play it, so that was pretty cool. As far as owning one, Kevin Martin the singer from Candlebox, gifted me. We did like two or three acoustic tours together, and the one that we did all the city wineries in the country,
Hmm.
and he had purchased the holy grail of 12 strings. He got a 1975 Guild F112 12 string, the all rosewood 12 string. It's like the holy grail of 12 strings. And he gifted that to me after that tour. So that was nice. I'm gonna be playing that all over the record too. But that was owned by Nathaniel Rateliff. So that came from Nathaniel Rateliff's personal collection. So that's kind of a cool one to have.
Heck yeah.
There's other stuff that I'm sure I could like sit here and think about, be like, oh yeah, that, or I should have told him about that. But yeah, I think those are probably the two like probably most memorable pieces that I've gotten. And then the one year, well, we have a friend who's obviously very wealthy to own this guitar, but he owns Jimi Hendrix's Jazz Master from when he was in the Isley Brothers,
Hmm.
and I got to play that, which was kind of cool. I played that a few years ago, and I'd spent like 3 days on the bus with it, and I played the riffs on it, so that was kind of cool playing that. It was great because Jimmy played right-handed guitars just strung the other way, so all you had to do was string it right-handed, and that was it. So I got to play Jimi Hendrix's guitar. I have some pictures with that, some video of it, so that was pretty cool.
Do you burn that guitar into your memory? Just like like really looking into it.
Well, oh yeah, the Hendrix one, man. I'm telling you, there's mojo in it. It exists. You can't put that amount of like emotion and feeling and just body energy into an object and it not hold that energy, you know.
Hmm.
So it was definitely there for sure.
Bad fucking ass, man.
Yeah,
All right. So last question.
sure.
For everyone that's been with you all through your journey, from being a teenager all the way up to now, family, friends, fans, fans that haven't even heard you yet, what do you say to them?
I just want them to enjoy the music. Just give it a listen. Just press play. That's my advice. Just press play. Just give a listen. It doesn't matter whether it's Burial Ground, Octane, Foster Child, my new solo stuff. It's just press play. I just want them to listen to it because you never know. You might find something that you didn't. You might find something you weren't expecting to.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I wanna thank you, and I appreciate
Of
you.
course. Thank you. Yeah, man. My pleasure. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
I look forward to hopefully catching you on the road sometime. I'm here in the Midwest. I'm in Topeka, so Wichita, Kansas City, St. Louis, somewhere around there.
Love it. Yeah, man, that's great. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, if I get out Midwest, I'll certainly make sure to hit you up.
Awesome, dude. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Marcus. Have a good one, brother.
Take care, dude.